And our final school here is Synapse. And so a brief introduction on Synapse is that there is a big emphasis on social emotional learning. They focus very heavily on this aspect, and we'll get more into that in a second. And then there's also a large focus on project-based learning for math especially. And so the location of Synapse is Menlo Park, and then the teacher to student ratio is 1 to 5. And for the tuition breakdown for kindergarten, it is 33,600. And then for grades 1 through 4, it's 35,700. And then for grades 5 through 8, it's 39,900. So slightly under 40K. And then the main grade entrance is kindergarten and grade 6. Now, for some key characteristics about Synapse, they do have project-based learning through their Math Circles activity program, and that is for the lower school. And essentially what the Math Circles activity is that it's a 30-minute session once a week where students are able to pick a topic that they are interested in that's obviously math related and practice that in a project-based learning system or setting. And the topics that are offered include geometry, computational paper folding, mathematical art, sports statistics, strategy games, and mathematical puzzles. So one thing that you can see that they're trying to encourage for their lower school students is trying to make sure that the students are getting interested in math through topics that they may be interested in. Like we mentioned, sports statistics is one of those topics. If this child is interested in sports but may need some more help learning, getting interested in math, that can definitely help. Having them introduce statistics through sports or strategy games, that is definitely one thing that they push. And then for the middle school students, they are able to participate in math competitions such as the AMC 8, the Math Olympiad, and Math Counts through their mathletics team. And then for parents, one of the key characteristics is that parents are actually able to participate bi-monthly in their emotional intelligence or EQ sessions. And the goal essentially of this is to help them navigate the waters of parenting and learn from other parents and EQ experts that are present during those emotional intelligence sessions, because they do realize that social emotional learning is important for both students and parents. There's a lot of struggles that happen with parenting. They want to make sure they're there to help and make sure that they can also build a tightly knit community through talking with other parents as well during these sessions. So those are some characteristics regarding Synapse that were definitely made them stand out. So we will get into the next slide, which is their SEL. As we said before, they are definitely very focused on SEL. They actually follow the same 6 seconds SEL curriculum as Helios. And what for parents who do not know, 6 seconds is one of the most renowned social emotional learning curriculums that is very highly thought of and very detailed. So we'll get into that for a little bit for next couple minutes. They follow the 8 competencies that 6 seconds provides. And these 8 competencies that they focus on for the child include enhance emotional literacy, recognize patterns, apply consequential thinking, navigate emotions, engage intrinsic motivation, exercise optimism, increase empathy, and then pursue noble goals. Those are the 8 kind of competencies that they focus on in their curriculum. And then as you can see on the graph to the right, they do a lot of those competencies are shown in their 5 key pillars of social emotional learning, which they include. And those are self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, social awareness, and relationship skills. Moving on, they do also have emotional intelligence assessments to personalize the SEL development of their child and help them set academic and social emotional goals. K through 6 students participate in self-science classes, where students through experiments and through activities, they learn to help better their own communication and social emotional wellness. And then lastly, middle school students take social innovation classes that have full SEL integration. So as you can see with Synapse, they do pride themselves and focus more on their SEL and making sure their curriculum is in depth and covers every single aspect and has kind of sub aspects to the main key pillars to make sure that each child is personally able to help improve their social emotional learning. And then lastly, we'll get into some parent feedback. regarding Synapse. And so the first quote here is, if your child is gifted, it can be a good fit, better than some other private schools in some senses. There will be other gifted kids there, and the project-based learning will appeal to them. And then the second quote here says, I think Helios and Synapse have sort of similar feels. Both are very strong communities and very strong SEL. As we said before, Helios and Synapse, both their main key characteristic is social emotional learning, and they follow the same curriculum. So for parents who know about Helios, which is located in Sunnyvale, but maybe in the Peninsula and don't want to drive so far to go to Helios, Synapse is definitely another option. And then this third quote is, we're at Synapse. The daughter is in first grade and our SEL curriculum is very strong. We have weekly specialized classes called self-science, as we said before, and it's part of the skill evaluation at the end of each trimester. And you can see it in all of the other classes as well. School also organizes classes and events for parents around SEL. That was the main reason why they chose this school. And then lastly, this is a paraphrase from a parent, not a direct quote, but this parent said that the project-based learning platform for math may limit students' abilities to get ahead and master topics that are above their grade level. So they do focus a lot on project-based learning. And if your child is definitely benefits from project-based learning, it's definitely a good option. However, if you do want your student to maybe get very far ahead in math and take classes that are 2 or 3 grades ahead of their actual class, it may be a little bit harder here because of the focus on project-based learning over hard tests to gauge their improvement. So that is it for our 5 schools individual presentations, but we will now get into some key statistical comparisons for a couple minutes.